Hey, it's Allie with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're doing a crew comparison between the Carina from Philips and the DeLonghi Magnifica. So this model in particular is the 4110, but it's very similar to the 3300 model they had a few years ago. That machine was super popular, and so they went away from that design and then kind of came back. So this one can kind of stand in for both of those models. So if you have the old 3300, you can kind of compare that to the Carina, or the 4110, still a good one to compare to it. So we decided to compare these two machines because they actually have a lot of similar features, but they come at two different price points. So we wanted to show off what you get at each price point, and basically some of the features that are the same and what's different. So let's get started. So we'll start with the DeLonghi. This machine is pretty manual altogether. So you have one button here for a single coffee, two for two if you're going to make two, and then a steam button. A full dial here. This is actually directly influencing the volume of coffee that's going to come out. So I have mine set, and I had to leave it there so it would stay, to brew about 1.5 ounces of espresso. And then if you wanted to do a brewed coffee, you would just turn that up all the way, and it can brew about 8 ounces total. And then you also have a dial here directly influencing how much coffee it grinds into the shot itself. So all the way down to min to max. Since I'm going to do max on both, I'm a strong coffee drinker, I left it up there. So this machine also does hot water and steaming. So both of those will come out of the little Panarello arm here. Basically, you hit that button halfway for steam, all the way down for hot water. And there you go. You do have the hopper on the left-hand side here. It does have a little tray guarding that so you don't, stick your hands in there, or to prevent anything from falling into that chute for the grinder. You do have a pretty big adjustment here. I think I have it down. Actually, I was playing around with it. I'm gonna knock that down just one more. I was trying to see the difference between the espresso and the brewed coffee if I change that up. You do have a passive cup warmer here on the right-hand side. Bypass doser in there, just 1 scoop of pre-ground coffee if you're going to make any decaf or just want to try a different coffee out. Pretty big drip tray here. This is, I always get this confused. It's not like other machines. You have to pull this out of the way and open the door here to get to your brew unit and your dregs box here. So now that I have this open, I can pull it out. Pretty big drip tray, pretty big dregs box. Not exactly super easy to clean, but it does have that stainless steel grate. Lock that back. You have a front-loading water tank here. And that's about it. It's a pretty simple machine. It does give you a lot of options for brewing and stuff. You're still going to have to do that milk manually, but that's about it. And then if we move over to the Carina, you'll see there's a lot of differences, but it does some things a little bit differently as well. So Carina is going to be the less expensive of these two machines. So you can see some of that in the materials used. So you're going to have a plastic grate here. It's also smaller, but it does come out without having to open that front container there. Still have the front loading water tank. It's a little bit bigger than that of the Magnifica. Footprint altogether is a little bit smaller. You do have a larger hopper here for all of your whole bean coffee. Still have a grind adjustment here. This one has a few more options, up to 12. Well, this one actually just goes up to 4, number-wise, but it has a few in between as well. So those are a little different, not a true comparison of the adjustability, but you do get options for both, a little bit more options on the Carina. You do have the same, you can brew 2 drinks at once with these as well. Sorry, I just hit a button there. But the way that this machine does it is it actually has a 1 shot, or basically 1 drink or 2 drinks on that actual button. So say you're making 2 lattes or 2 espressos, you would hit the button until it showed the ×2, and then it will brew 2 for you. Or you can just hit that 1 and it'll brew 1. The benefit to having it like this is that it does save your settings for that button. Whereas say you're going to make something like a latte every day, and then you have company over and you're going to make a brewed coffee. For this one, it doesn't have that saved, so you'd have to basically manually adjust it, where on the Carina, you actually have a whole button dedicated to the coffee, so you can have that pre-programmed ready to go, and it won't mess up your settings for your espresso. On this machine as well, you do have varying levels that you can brew, but the way that this unit does it is it actually does it with this little button here. When you're programming your shot or you're programming this button, you're programming it to the max amount that you want it to brew. And then this button here, you can choose, say I want a third of what I programmed, a half of what I programmed, or the full amount. So basically it gives you little break it up like that. You also have a dose button here where the dose on the DeLonghi is going to be more. You have more options. You have 3 options here on the Carina. You have a separate hot water button, a separate steam button. Basically, that's about it as far as the programming goes. Not too much deeper than that. So I already pulled that out on the last one, so I wanted to show you. Pretty simple. To get to the brew unit on this one, it's actually on this side. So you'd pull out the water tank here, and there's a little door on the side that opens up. Sorry, coffee. I think that's it. Still got the Panarello arm there. This one doesn't adjust as much, like it doesn't move. This one can swing. So this one kind of stays in place. You do have difference in cup clearance actually. So this one kind of goes from about 2.5 or 3 inches or so, all the way up to more like 6. This one doesn't have as much cup clearance or much difference in cups clearance. I'd say that's about 3, maybe 3.5, up to, I don't know, that looks like 5. You might want to check the specs on the website to be particular about those 2 differences, but it's pretty obvious when you're right in front of them. One other thing is that actually the Carina here comes with, or all Philips machines or Seiko machines now are compatible with the AquaClean filter. So the AquaClean filter actually prevents you from having to descale as much by a significant amount. So the DeLonghi doesn't offer any filters like that at the moment. They do offer some filters, but you still have to descale pretty regularly. So a little bit more maintenance involved there. So that's all the general specs. I say it's time to brew a drink on each and just compare how they make the same kind of coffee. So I have got this Cova coffee. This is a single origin, a Honduras Porfirio Castellanos. It's got a really nice raspberry note that I like for espresso. So I actually haven't tasted them on either of the machines yet, but I had them dialed in to be the same. So it'll be a pretty good comparison about how they brew. Okay, so let's make a drink. So I'll start with the DeLonghi here. I think I actually mentioned something incorrectly earlier. If you're doing hot water, you don't have to hit the steam button here. You just open it all the way. That'll be hot water. For steam, you hit the button, it starts to warm up, and then it'll do steam. So while I wait for that to steam, I already have pre-portioned milk here. Perfect. So that light's illuminated. That's letting me know that it is ready. I'm going to let some of this condensation out. Perfect. And here we go. Adding a little extra foam. Panarellos really do most of the work for you. You don't have to do too much. Sometimes I like to add a little extra foam though if I'm doing cappuccinos. And then I just wait for it to get hot. That is a benefit of being able to do your own milk. If you like hot milk, sometimes machines that do it automatically don't really get up to that temp. So you can choose. See, like this is now very hot, which is what I wanted. About 160 or so. Rinse that off. And then DeLonghi does recommend when you're done steaming, just hit that button again. Notice the 2 green are blinking. It's just showing that it's a little too hot to brew. So we are going to let some of that out. Perfect. And then once these stop, Let's see if they'll, there we go, cool. So basically just cooling down that pump to make sure that it is going to be the right temperature for your coffee. And then I'm just going to brew one. This should be set up to the strength and size of coffee that I need. There we go. Try to save my milk here. I kind of let it sit. Nice. So both of these kind of do like a pre-brew of sorts, like you'll hear them start, stop for a second, and then actually pull the espresso, which is nice. Just a little white dot. And there we have it, our DeLonghi cappuccino. Time for the Carina. So we will step over here. I'll do the same thing. I'll just start with steam. Go ahead and hit that button, hit go. It's gonna start to warm up. I'm gonna let it kind of do its thing for just a second. And then when I hear the pump, that's when I add my milk. Yeah, see, there you go, hear the pump. I think the steam on this one's actually a little bit more powerful, or at least it feels like it. Basically, I'm just using my hand as a temperature measure. When it gets just too hot to the touch, that's around 160, which is how most people like their lattes. There we go. Hit stop. Perfect. And then this does slide off. If you wanted to just slide it right off and take it to the dishwasher, or sorry, to the sink, you definitely could. I'm just going to give it a wipe for now and then rinse it out after. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and brew our drink. So I'm going to brew espresso. Pull this down just a little bit. We're going to do the full amount that I've programmed, since I programmed it for 1.5 ounces, which should be the average espresso shot size. This machine seems to be a little bit quieter too. When we were using the DeLonghi, I felt like it was louder, like the grind was louder, the pump was louder. I don't really know what that's about, but just overall, smell difference. Beautiful. A little espresso there. Add my milk. I tried not to do any latte art to make it fair. I feel like the milk came out a little bit better on this one. It was a little bit smoother. You can kind of see more foam happened as well. Ta-da! There we go. So I'm gonna give both of these a taste. Let's see how they went. DeLonghi. Oh, that's pretty good. It's creamy, balanced. Honestly, I like mine with a little bit less milk, so this is a little too much milk for me. I would probably add another shot in if I was gonna make this at home. This one's more foamy, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I feel like this one was stronger. I don't know what that's about. That's interesting. So it could be more of the foam, since it's less milk, more foam. That is equivalent to some of it. But overall, I feel like this is a stronger latte. This one was not as much. Yeah, I mean, it's both pretty good still, just a little different in style. And there you have it. That's it. DeLonghi versus the Carina, the DeLonghi Magnifica versus the Philips Carina. Let us know if you have any questions about these two. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. We will see you next time.